Hello folks, welcome back to Excel Labs. In the last episode we spoke about all the formulas, how the interface looks like. In this episode I thought it would be easier if you know what references are. References are the easy way in order to find or point to a column or a row. So in Excel there are three types of references: a relative reference, absolute reference and mixed reference. I'm going to show you all the three references here. So firstly I'm going to show you what relative reference is. Relative reference is nothing but the pointer to the column or a row changes relatively when we move across the cells. For example, now you have learned about the total formula with sum, right? So equal to sum, open the bracket, select the range and then close the bracket, press enter, you have the total. And when I drag it down, I have the total calculated for all of this, where I had told you in the previous episode that Excel is intelligent, that it changes the column or the range automatically. Now for this particular sum, it has taken the range for only Divya Jain, right? So if I press enter, it automatically took the range for Riya, and here it has taken automatically for Mohit and so on, right? So it relatively changed the column and row references accordingly to the formula and across the cells, right? This is called as relative reference. So now let's look at an example where I'm going to show you what absolute reference is, right? Absolute reference is nothing but a scenario where the references to the column and row is fixed for all the cells. For example, now let's say that the total marks we have here and we need to find the final marks. The final marks includes the test results or the marks from the sports, which is 10 marks for every student. So you need to factor in this 10 marks to everybody in this particular column. So how we can do that is basically equal to sign. I'm going to take this cell plus I have this mark here. So I have 560. Now previously what we did was drag it down, right? Which helped us in a relative reference, which automatically took the values. But if you see here, the marks changed with addition of 10, but did it change here? No, right? Why is it like that? Because if you look at the formula here, it has taken this as its reference. So we need to fix this, right? How we can fix this? By making it absolute reference. How we can add absolute reference is nothing but go to the formula and you need to fix K10. This is K10, right? You need to fix K10 so that it never changes when we drag down the formula. How we can do that? Here you can add a $sign to 10, which I am fixing the row by that, and adding a $sign to K so that I'm fixing the column. So that is absolute reference. Okay, so K10 is fixed now. So if I drag down the column, so what happens is 10 is automatically added since K10 is absolutely referenced. If you check at the last value here and if you go to the formula, K10 is fixed. So the dollar symbol represents the references, and that's how you can fix a value in Excel. So that's about absolute reference, right? I forgot to mention that there is one more way how you can add $sign instead of pressing dollar every time. So what you could do here is press the F4 key, which automatically considers absolute reference. But if you want to get other references, like let's say mixed reference, you can press F4 again, which gives you a mixed reference. We will look at mixed reference shortly. So that's about absolute reference. Now let's look at what mixed reference is, right? So for this I have taken an example of tables, right? So here you get 1 table until 5, same thing 5 table until 5, same thing with the column and same thing with the row. Alright, now let's calculate. So if we go with the natural formula, that's equal to sign, we take this value into this value, right? So that's 1 cross 1 is 1. There's no harm there, right? Now let's drag down here. What happens? Since there was no references, Excel automatically took the references, which is relative, which moved along with the formula, right? So if you check this out, the value is F1 multiplied by E2. So this is not right. So what we should do is we should fix this particular value. So what we should do here is that we have to add a reference, which is basically a mixed reference. So if you look at this formula, you want the rows to be fixed, right, but the columns to change. So that means every time it's not B1, it has to be C1, D1, E1 and F1. So A2 remains the same, meaning it has to be fixed, but B1 changes, right? From B it keeps changing to C, D, E and F, right? So B changes, but what remains the same is the row number, which is 1, right? So you put a $sign there or press the F4 key, which first brings us to the absolute reference and next brings us to mixed reference, which is a $symbol to the number, to the row, but not the column. Now let's see if this value is fixed. Press enter. So we have 1. We drag it down, but still the value did not change. Why? It is because if you check this out, it took B2 instead of A2 still. So that means this value is changing, right? What we can do now is change the second part of the equation, which is changing A2. So A2 has to be fixed. Here A2 has to be fixed, right? Meaning A2 shouldn't change. Even the row or the column should not be changed here, right? So this will become absolute reference. Now I'll press F4 to make it absolute reference. Press enter. Now we have 1. Drag the formula. Now it is fixed, right? So it is fixed, right? 1 1s are 1, 1 2s are 2, 1 3s are 3, and it is fixed. Now let's see if this is fixed when we drag it down. It's not, right? Because 2 1s are 2. So what we did is that we broke the code by making A2 absolutely referenced. For us, A2 should not be absolutely referenced. The column A should be fixed, but not the 2, right? Because 2 keeps changing here, but the column A will remain the same. So let me change this and remove this $sign and make it a mixed reference. Now let's see if it is fixed. Okay, now let me drag it down and it is fixed, right? Let me know in the comment section if it was easy or difficult to learn this, and let's move on to the next example. Okay, so to make things better and to make mixed reference easier, I have got one more example where you have a price conversion, where you have prices in Indian rupees, USD, euros and pounds. And now our job is to convert these product items with the money to all these currencies. Pretty simple, right? So equal to sign this value multiplied by the USD equals, and now I'm going to drag it here. But if you look at this, for the euros it has taken 12 as the currency, whereas it has to be 1000, right? Let me quickly fix that by changing the formula in the beginning, right? So for us, the column C has to be fixed, but the row should remain the same. So that means what I'll do here is that C has to be fixed. I will make C4, put a $symbol for put a $symbol for C so that we have the same column, right? Press enter, and now let me check, right? So looks like it is taking the same C4 as the value and changing it. Now let me do the same thing for the rest of the column. This doesn't look right, correct? So 2500 multiplied by 0.012 is 30,000. No. Now what went wrong, right? If you check this, it took 12 as the value instead of 0.012, right? How we can fix that is that the row 3 should be fixed for every value, right? How we can do that? Let me change the formula from the beginning, where in D3 the $symbol should be near 3. That means the row 3 is fixed. Now as you can see here we have the column fixed and here we have the row fixed, and hence it is called as a mixed reference. So now let me press enter. Now let me try to populate the formulas, and looks like it's working now. As you can see, it is taking that value and this value. Now if you see here, I have 5 products and it took a while for me to figure out the mixed references and fix this, right? But think about doing this manually, taking one number at a time, multiplying and getting the value. If you look at a commercial place like a shop, this might take forever, right? And imagine with the number of people coming, this might take a huge amount of time. So hence mixed reference. So let me know in the comment section if you liked relative reference, absolute reference or mixed reference, and give me a like, subscribe to Excel Labs, and we'll meet you in the next episode. Thank you.